All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. Hope everyone's having a nice morning. Let's go over the futures. Dow is down about 7 points. NASDAQ up 314 points, up 2.3%. Thank you very much, Nvidia. Yes, Nvidia, you see in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, they had their earnings, they beat, raised guidance. They absolutely murdered the quarter. If you guys remember, we talked about Nvidia that, hey, there's a possibility that, it's very binary, up or down. So I did not trade Nvidia. One of my students did. He hit me up last night, super excited. Congratulations to him. I haven't spoken to him in a while because he's obviously been doing his own thing, but he's a student of mine since 2019. And he caught Nvidia. I think he got the 340s. My God, he's gonna have a nice morning. S&P 500 futures 4164. We're above that 4155, 50% retracement level. We talked about the S&P yesterday. That if we get a fall, do we get that retest? We did. We actually broke below that trend line, which I tweeted about. The bigger dip would have been around 4060. Word is that we're going to get a debt deal. Quote from House Speaker McCarthy. This is what he said. Quote, I have instructed negotiators to work 24 hours a day to get a debt ceiling deal. He also said not everyone will be happy with the debt deal. So more than likely that means someone is going to give something up. Dems are going to give something up. Republicans are going to give something up. My 2 cents on this debt ceiling stuff is that the United States will always pay their bills. We'll just print it regardless of what happens. We had the same thing in 2011. Keep in mind that we had the Tea Party then. We had a Democratic president as well, Barack Obama. Same old thing. And we dragged this out till summer. We even got a debt downgrade. The market fell. Everyone freaked out. What happened in the end? In October 2011, we bounced. We bounced in the fourth quarter, and we continued chugging along. Right? All's well that ends well. And that's usually the case with these debt ceiling deals. All of this, most likely, guys, is political posturing. And that makes sense when you have campaigns and everything like that. We're starting to get into primary season. Just, I believe next year will be the Iowa caucus. I think that's the first primary for the political parties in the United States. So again, remember, election year is next year. So we just had the midterms. Now we're going to have the presidential one next year. So get ready for all of those political commercials. Always fun. And as the field grows wider, anything that affects the stock market, we'll let you know. But when it comes to political speak, that doesn't really do anything for you guys, except just upset everybody. Everyone's going to be upset. So let's just focus on the money. If anything political changes, we will let you know. But in terms of the debt ceiling, I wouldn't be too upset about it. The only thing is that you're going to get small little swings here and there. So the debt ceiling stuff, we'll call it that. It was worth 100 S&P points. And we shorted NASDAQ with the team. So again, we can either get mad at politics, shout at the screen, or we can take advantage. And that's kind of the idea. Read the news and look at the news and say, okay, how is this gonna help me? What can I do with this information? Then you start looking up at the political candidates, maybe who's donating to his campaign, what does he back, what's his legislation, certain stocks would be affected by what. For example, Ron DeSantis is running for president of the United States, the governor of Florida. Let's just say he wins the nomination, probably not very bullish for Disney, for example, as he's having a legal battle with them. So again, that's an example that you could use. Is that actionable? Could I trade off that tomorrow? No. But again, it's good to have that wherewithal to understand that it's a bigger picture than just left versus right. Politics is a little more fickle. Russell 2000 futures 1773. That's flat this morning. Crude oil taking a dip. We had inventories yesterday. We had a bigger than expected crude draw, an SPR draw. So we had a bounce yesterday on crude oil. We're still ping-ponging, guys. Really, same level, $80. When it gets above 80, we'll talk. Gasoline futures, same deal. I mean, that's pretty much moves with crude, $2.58. In terms of gold, 1948, we talked about that top on the weekly on gold. Let's go and take a look at it together, spin a little bit. Not everything just soars forever. Nvidia. Please look at this chart. Even though you broke out, we'll look at that together. Right now, we are on the 20 weekly moving average. More than likely a great place in terms of a bounce if we're about to get one. If we were to go long gold futures, I'm going to take an eye or keep an eye on the 1930 level. That's that 61.8 fib. If we get there, we may be able to go long with some micros. Let's see if this holds. Dollar yen, if you guys have been following us on Twitter, I have been talking about this one. We got stopped flat on this one. I did not send this one. We would have been up 70 points if I did. We broke that 139 level. I'm now at 139.70, but we just didn't trade it, and that's okay. We'll get another crack at it. Look at the daily here on dollar yen. 140.148 is the 23.6 fib. If we get a stronger dollar, that's more than likely where we'll go. Speaking of the dollar, let's chart it together. We're getting a little pop. As you can see with the dollar yen, we're above the 20. We're above major moving averages except the 200. Could that be the next resistance? 104.99. The market seems does not care anymore about the dollar. Obviously, look at the NASDAQ. But again, it's something that we're going to watch very closely because if the dollar goes higher, that means rates go higher. And maybe that changes the Fed policy a little bit. Word is that a lot of echoes of a pause possibly in June. We've been talking about that all year. I thought we were going to get a pause in March. Jay Powell said, nope, and we're going to continue to raise. If it was up to me, let's just say, what would I do if I was a Fed chair? I would keep raising. I would actually say, okay, look at the market. Look at the stock market. All right, we are going higher. We're starting to break out, and this is with 500 points of tightening. I mean, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. We just had the GDP number. GDP number beat quarter over quarter. That number was, what was that number? 1.3% quarter over quarter GDP versus a 1.1 estimate. And then we're at a 3% year for GDP growth, according to the Fed Now Atlanta Fed. So imagine that we are tightening, but yet the market is bouncing. So what we're getting is what we talked about back in March. We want a structural bull market, right? We want something structured, with good measured pullbacks, just continuing higher. We don't want a mania or a panic. NQ doesn't look like a panic, at least here. You're just getting structural pullbacks, structural boosts. That's great. Look, we got the check back down to that 50% retracement. We bounced it. So again, now looking at this, 14,367, guys. If you break 14,000 on NQ, 14,367 is probably your next stop, which is the 38.2 fib. And why is that? Because of one name alone as of right now. It's this name. It's Nvidia. And Nvidia absolutely rocketed. How do you chart this? What can you do? You're just going to have to wait. Unless you got in beforehand, as a shareholder, I'm very happy. Great. I just wish I did the option instead, but whatever. In regards to Nvidia, again, we're just going to have to keep an eye on the stock once we actually print a daily candle, and we'll go from there. But AMD, I actually posted yesterday. I spoke to the team about it. I put the chart up yesterday on their watch list and charts. Take a look at this. AMD, this is the same setup we had on Tuesday, guys. We had the break of 108.50, and 110 was my target. You could see it here. This was trading at 107.17. 108.50, 108.48 was to break that top, well, short-term top, and then just go higher to 110. Nvidia made sure that didn't happen, and made sure to break that. It's at 117.23. So if you got those, great. That was kind of a good Nvidia proxy. Again, a pretty binary trade if Nvidia would have missed. Let's go ahead and answer some questions here. Good morning, Carlos. 4190 target on ES today. I say 4200 on ES today. I think that's where we go, possibly even higher. They're the simple fact that when you have speculative assets, very speculative in terms of price to earnings and price to sales like an Nvidia, and it's still going, that's where you're starting to get to mania side. And when it comes to manias, remember GME, remember the meme names, commodities. When there's a mania, it's a very big thrust, a short-term thrust. Very hard to short that because you're basically shorting the public. And when the public, as you can tell, when they're very concentrated on something, I mean, they buy it up in bulk, right? Think of it as Bitcoin as well. A lot of people were trying to short Bitcoin when it kept soaring. It's hard to time that. So again, if you're an Nvidia shareholder today, what do you do? If you have in your retirement plan, leave it alone. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to cash it out? It's just your retirement money. If it's in your brokerage, fine. You know, if you want to take some profits, totally cool. If you need the money, absolutely. I always recommend when you have a really good setup or a good return on an investment, I mean, you have to hold on to those winners, right? And then the second part is to kind of give yourself a little something. Maybe maybe sell a share and take out 300 bucks for yourself and enjoy yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, it is just money back and forth, whether it's stocks, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's cash savings, whether it's everything, anything else. A CD, for example, it's just money transferring from one end to another. I mean, once you liquidate it, it's just cash. So yes, your piece of paper of Nvidia gained in value. Congratulations, that's great. We may have more upside. I mean, this is the same argument I had with AMD when I bought the shares at $2 and then it went to $8 and I sold it because I'm like, it's never going to go higher than this, actually $6. So imagine me selling AMD at $6 in my Scott Trade account back in 2011. I mean, what are you going to do? That happens. So, you know, you may think, oh, it's too high, too fast. That may be true. For all we know, Nvidia may be the most valuable company on the planet in 3 years. Semiconductors is the new oil. We've been saying it. AI, and we talked about autonomous vehicles, all that good stuff. Chip makers are it. That's why SMH, and I even said Nvidia being a top 10 stock of 2023. So again, if you bought into that, congratulations. I'd rather just trade around it here rather than buy anything. I'd rather just wait for pullbacks. You want to buy stuff on sale, not when it's soaring in value. Just a heads up. Okay, you're going to be looking to get into TGT all again. I still got it one of those levels last time. Oh yeah, TGT. Let's take a look at it. TGT is not there. There is my alert 138.71. That is the support level on TGT. And that's the level I'll be looking for. It is now at 142.10. So let's see if we get that pullback. Target has not hit my alert yet, but that's what I'm looking for. So again, I expect the market to go higher. I did fill some AMD personal based on the chart I sent. I didn't send the signal, obviously hindsight being 2020, but again, we're sitting pretty this week. We'll keep an eye on some other things as well. One big one is Amazon. Amazon can get above 118. The 120 calls, I talked about this last night, is getting a lot of volume on this week, next week, the week after, and the week after that. So for about 4 weeks, the 120 strike seems to be that level that call buyers are targeting. And this is why. You could see it here, 120 level. If we go ahead and expand it out a little bit, that's been that kind of, and really this channel here that we've been kind of stuck at. So 120 being that target. If it breaks, you have 125 as the gap fill. So Amazon might be a good one here. I'm going to keep an eye on that one. I may not look at it for this week expired because we'll have lower volumes due to the Memorial Day weekend. Will be for next week would be the signal if I do get in with the team. But keep in mind Monday the market is closed, so no volume coming in. Sweet, good luck with the markets today. Should be a phone. Absolutely. Again, if you are an Nvidia shareholder or call holder, you're going to have a great morning. AMD too, and anything chip related, if you're in that, or NASDAQ, congratulations. You're going to have a fine morning this morning. All right, we'll go and leave it there, guys. I'm going to keep an eye on futures. If we break 14,000 on NASDAQ, that should boost the market entirely. 4,200 is my target for today on ES. Let's see if we get there. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Cheers.